Hello, welcome to Walk in the Park. My name is Tony Ingram, and this is episode 65, recorded on January 8th, 2014. You can see all of my episodes at walkinpark.com. It's my vid blog, as I might call it. And today, you heard that strange call. That was the snarl and roar and so forth of the mountain lion, or cougar, or panther, or painter, or a number of different things it's called. It's actually all the same species, and it's a very wide-ranging species. Let's see, its Latin name is, let me see, get it here, it is cougar. Wait a minute, got this panthera here. That's not a panthera, that is a cougar. The Latin name, where did I put it down here? Oh my gosh, I forgot the Latin name. Well, this is weird. Anyway, it's all the same species. Puma concolor, that's what I think. Puma, that's the Inca name for it. And you can see that the range, this is a range map of the mountain lion, cougar, Puma concolor, that ranges all the way from almost Alaska down to the southern tip of South America. And it has been extirpated or wiped out in eastern North America. But anyway, it is all the same species. There are some subspecies. So now we're going to take a look at a video, because the cougars, or mountain lions, or panthers, or painters, or Puma concolor, have been on the move. They are expanding their range from the western United States back somewhat in through the Midwest, the Dakotas, Nebraska, and so forth. But you hear more about that better told by the New York Times. I have a video that was included on their online version that was done on June 10th, 2013, called Back on the Prowl. So that's what we'll do. We'll take a look at the New York Times video.
The emigrants were about 7 feet long and weighed up to 160 pounds. Given a dietary choice, they preferred deer, but would eat almost anything that moved. That's the arresting lead of our cover article this week on the return of the American cougar, a species once threatened with extinction, but now on the prowl across much of the United States. Science reporter Guy Gugliotta is here to talk about a conservation success story that may be almost too successful. Hi, Guy.
Hey, David.
So, the cougar, why don't you tell us what happened to it?
Well, for most of the history after the European settlement of the Americas, the cougar was pretty much regarded as a varmint, something that was dangerous, something that had nothing to offer the rest of civilization, and they were hunted pretty much as you wanted. Cougars native from northern Canada all the way down to Patagonia, and it's all over the place, or it was. But by 1900, it had pretty much been wiped out east of the Rockies.
And so the population that remained was pretty much confined to like California and the far west.
California, the far west, and a reasonable slice of Texas, West Texas.
One of the interesting sidelights of your article is how many different names this creature has.
Oh, indeed, and it's hard to figure out. I was in Arizona for a little while doing this, and I called them cougars, and they said, no, we don't call them cougars here. It's not right to call them cougars. Here they're mountain lions. In the South, they were called painters, which is play on panthers, which is what they're called in Florida. In New England, where the last one was killed about 1930, they used to be called catamounts, a really fantastic name. Puma, which is what they're pretty much known as throughout the Western Hemisphere, is an Inca word.
And basically these are all one species.
One species. At one point in Florida, when the Florida panther was about to die out, about 20 years ago, they thought that this was a special species, and they made the Florida panther an endangered species. And then they couldn't figure out what to do, so they shipped in 8 females from Texas, 8 female mountain lions, or cougars. And well, over the last 25 years, it turns out that the Florida panther, kinked tails, small litters, short lifespan, was all a problem with inbreeding. And indeed, they're mountain lions or cougars, just like the rest. And instead of fewer than 20, they're now about 200.
And where else are they turning up?
Well, they have colonized or recolonized in 3 places that are known right now. The Badlands of North Dakota, the Pine Ridge area of Nebraska, and a slice of northeast Wyoming. But young males have been wandering across the Midwest pretty much for the last 10, 15 years.
Right. So you mentioned that it's the males who seem to be doing most of the migrating. Is that just a characteristic of the species?
Yes, indeed. What happens is that in a new litter, the mother will take care of the cubs for about 2 years. At the end of that time, the young males go off, they're hunting for girls. They wander a long way, and they'll come all the way to Connecticut looking for girls, and they don't find them. Now the females will move, but they move incrementally in very short spurts, and it's where the females are that the new colonies begin.
We'll have a range map of the American cougar in Science Times this week, along with Guy Gugliotta's report on the return of the cougar. Guy, thanks a lot.
My pleasure, David.
Okay, so that was pretty good. In a recent episode of Walk in the Park, we had a number of videos from Florida, from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and also from Florida State Parks. And I showed them, and one of them I didn't completely show, but I thought we'd go back and take another look at it. We're going to go to Fakahatchee Strand Preserve State Park and see if we can, well, wait a minute. Before we go that, I want to talk about another cat. Now, the cougar is the biggest, largest predator mammal in the Western Hemisphere that covers the entire Western Hemisphere. However, it is the second largest cat overall in the Western Hemisphere. It has the largest range, but the largest one is the jaguar, which is actually in the Panther genus. Let's see what I can say about the jaguar. Panthera onca is a big cat, a feline in the Panthera genus, and is the only Panthera species found in the Americas. The jaguar is the 3rd largest feline after the tiger and the lion, and the largest in the Western Hemisphere. That's its range right there, ranging from the southwestern United States all the way down through South America. Jaguar's present range extends from southwestern U.S. and Mexico across much of Central America and south to Paraguay and northern Argentina. Apart from a known and possibly breeding population in Arizona, southeast of Tucson, the cat has largely been extirpated from the United States. So let's see. Since the early 20th century, the jaguar, a compact and well-muscled animal, is the largest cat in the New World and the largest carnivorous mammal in Central and South America. Size and weight are vary considerably. Weights are normally in the range of 124 to 211 pounds. Larger males have been recorded to weigh as much as 350 pounds, roughly matching a tigress or lioness. So the length from the nose to the base of the tail of the cats varies from 3.9 to 6.4 feet. And if you go into Latin America, you will often find them called tigre, el tigre. So they commonly refer to them as tigers. So, but let's go back to North America, to the only reproducing population of cougars or mountain lions, or panthers as they call them in Florida, is in Florida, in southwest Florida. So we're going to go down to Fakahatchee Strand State Park Preserve, I believe it is. And look at a video that we looked at once before, if you were with me, and in a few episodes ago. Yeah, okay, so actually I'm going to read a little bit before we get there about this. Let's see, you can see that dot in the blue area of the state park region map there. That is where it is in southwest Florida, not far from the Everglades. Okay, so this is what the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission wrote on their video. Well, this is taken offline from online, a YouTube video that agency posted. The classic story of girl calls for boy, then they meet and hang out for a while together. We hope they made beautiful music together and are expecting. Trail cameras set up at a private residence near Fakahatchee Strand Preserve State Park in Collier County give a glimpse into the secret lives of panthers. Under the cover of darkness, a female panther calls for a mate. Her caterwauling lets male panthers know she is ready to mate. Successful with her yowling call, a collared male panther known to us as FP-183 answers. They meet, and like most panther couples, they spend a few days together. Watch as they navigate the area together at night and in the rain one day. The end of the video shows the male scratching on a log and making scrapes on the ground. So let's go. This picture here is actually in Corkscrew Swamp Preserve, which is not far away. And this is on their boardwalk. A panther showed up. It might have been the same one as the male in this picture. I'm not sure. But in any case, we'll go to this next video. Okay. Pretty nice. So Jaguars are the largest cat in the Western Hemisphere, and Cougars are the second largest. They're like fourth in the world. So just how big are they? This is from Wikipedia. Let's see the size I want to read about here. Cougar size. They are the fourth largest cat. Adults stand about 24 to 35 inches tall at the shoulders. Adult males are about 7.9 feet long, nose to tail, and females average 6.7 feet, with overall ranges between 4.9 and 9 feet nose to tail, suggested for the species in general. Of this length, 25 to 37 inches is comprised of the tail. Males typically weigh 115 to 220 pounds, averaging 137 pounds. Females typically weigh between 64 and 141 pounds, averaging 93. In general, they are about the size of an adult human. The largest cougar on record was a male shot in Arizona that weighed about 300 pounds. So they can get pretty substantial, as this picture of this large male out west shows. In fact, the caption on this picture, I think it was from Wikimedia, said, "An annoyed male cougar." So don't want to annoy them, but they're very secretive. They really are not wanting to tangle with us. But attacks on humans are not unknown, but they're rare. Okay, so where are we going to go next? We're going to go to Arizona and see what they have to say. Their fish and wildlife people down there have to say about the mountain lion.
The mountain lion occurs only in the Western Hemisphere and has one of the most extensive ranges of any land mammal, from the Straits of Magellan in South America to the Canadian Yukon. The major reduction in mountain lion distribution has come as a result of its extirpation from areas of historic range in the eastern United States and Canada. In Arizona, mountain lions are absent only from the areas heavily impacted by human development. In general, the distribution of mountain lions in Arizona corresponds with the distribution of its major prey species, deer. Deer, both whitetail and mule, are the principal mountain lion prey species in Arizona. In some areas, javelina or livestock can be major components of mountain lion diet. Mountain lions are very specialized predators at the top of the food chain and consequently do not normally exist in high concentrations. Mountain lions maintain spatial separation between each other, thereby assuming that each individual has the resources necessary to survive. Mountain lions kill large prey species with regularity. Usually one deer-sized animal is killed every 6 to 12 days. Considerable skill executing stalks and, more importantly, consummating the kill is required to avoid debilitating injury.
Okay, that was from the Arizona Game and Fish Department. Now let's go up to Wyoming and Yellowstone National Park up in the northwestern Wyoming, and we'll listen to a ranger tell us about mountain lions there. This is two juvenile mountain lions in Yellowstone, or actually near Yellowstone, I guess, that are been chased up on this fence by a pack of coyotes. I guess they're not a match for a pack of coyotes. But let's go take another look.
You're watching Inside Yellowstone. Our knowledge of mountain lions in Yellowstone is really just being developed. The first study of lion ecology in the park began in 1987. In the early days of Yellowstone, as with most of the West, mountain lions were subject to predator control policies. Researchers estimate that up to 24 mountain lions live here, and that number is increasing. There are now 4 collared mountain lions in Yellowstone. Female lions weigh around 100 pounds and have a lifespan of 14 years, while the 160-pound males only live about 10 years. By the time they are 1.5 years old, most males move as far as 400 miles from where they were born. The females disperse around 150 miles. Cats are very territorial. Males, or toms, have home ranges of around 150 square miles that overlap with several females. Other toms could be killed if they're caught trespassing into a larger male's range. Mountain lions can mate at any time of year, but in Yellowstone, most mate in winter or early spring. After a 92-day gestation, 2 or 3 one-pound kittens are born in dens. Elk and mule deer are the main sources of food for mountain lions. After a kill, carcasses are buried or cached. It takes nearly 4 days to consume one of those large ungulates. On average, lions go 9.5 days between kills. Confrontations with mountain lions are rare in Yellowstone. If you do encounter one, get your group to stay together and carry any small children. It is best to act dominant. Stare directly at the cat and show your teeth. For me, one of the best things about wilderness areas is that physically we are not the top of the food chain. We must see better, hear better, and smell better. Yellowstone's wilderness is dangerous, but the rewards are priceless.
Okay, you ready for that? So now I'm going to go down. We're going to go down to Southwest Texas to Big Bend National Park, and I was actually there last April and went into the park and went for a hike and up into mountain lion country. Here is a sign that has a lion warning and says we're in bear country too, not grizzly bear, but black bear country. But the mountain lions are in Southwest Texas. So I happened to run across a YouTube video, which I downloaded, and a guy who was hiking in Big Bend, and he saw something. He's hiking up a mountain, one of the mountains in Big Bend, and way up on the mountain he saw a couple of mountain lions. So he took a little video of them, and we're going to enjoy that.
Hey! Hi. What's up? It's all good. I see you. You are a mountain lion, and I am blessed. Hey!
Okay, so if you go hiking out in those national parks, you might see them. I've been in Everglades and looked for them where they were said you might see them. I've never seen them, only in captivity. So, as was mentioned in the New York Times video, they do occasionally show up east of the Mississippi of wandering males. This is actually a wandering kitten in Yellowstone. But a couple of years ago, a few years ago, in June, I think it was, of 2011, Connecticut, on a highway in Milford, Connecticut, this mountain lion was killed by an SUV. So this was a real surprise to people, and I guess it's a U.S. Fish and Wildlife biologist here is actually doing the necropsy on the animal and tried to determine where it came from. And they determined through DNA tests that this particular lion had come all the way from the Dakotas, from the Black Hills of South Dakota, which would correspond to that spot in the left of the picture there, and had been spotted and even captured and confirmed and then re-released in the upper Midwest. And another place was probably confirmed. I think maybe the Minnesota one was a capture and the Wisconsin one was not 100% confirmed. But anyway, they determined through the DNA test that this was a wild mountain lion from South Dakota. It didn't have, let me see what there was. Yeah, it says the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection said today that, this is July 26, 2011, that results of genetic tests show that the mountain lion killed in Milford, Connecticut in June made its way to the state from the Black Hills region of South Dakota and is an animal whose movements were actually tracked and recorded as it made its way through Minnesota and Wisconsin. Okay, it was also seen in Greenwich, Connecticut, and I think it was a wild mountain lion. There's no confirmation of any wild mountain lions in the state of Connecticut for more than 100 years, and it's very unlikely there's a native population. So this one was confirmed to have come from the west. So are there any mountain lions in New York State? Well, there's probably some that wander through like this Connecticut lion, and I think one was killed in Saratoga some years ago. But the official position of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation is, so I'll just read this little statement here on their fact sheet about cougars. We in New York receive a few reports of cougar sightings each year from throughout the state, and in many instances, in a case of mistaken identity, other cats, fishers, or dogs are the animals probably seen. Once in a great while, a real cougar is sighted. Based on our experiences, it is safe to assume that these animals have been intentionally or unintentionally released by people. Contrary to some people's beliefs, they are not part of a native self-sustaining population. They leave tracks which would be regularly seen in any area frequented by them. If there were enough cougars for a population, there would be many sets of tracks readily available for people to see throughout the year. So if you want to get more information about that, go to this article, Big Cat Tales, which was in the New York State Conservationist by Investigating Cougar Sightings in New York by Scott Van Arsdale. You can find her on their website, February 08 Conservationist article. And that is all we have time for today. So you want to see more episodes or see this episode again, you can go on my blog. And meanwhile, have a good day.